The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was larger than most cities in the galaxy. Tall silver pillars rose toward a glowing ceiling filled with stars. Hundreds of alien leaders sat in floating seats arranged in a wide circle. Each one represented a powerful civilization from a distant world. But today the hall was louder than usual. Voices argued, screens flashed with reports, and tension filled the air. An emergency meeting had been called. The topic of the meeting was a small blue planet on the edge of known space. Earth. Many leaders did not understand why such an emergency was needed. To them, humans were a young species with weak technology and constant conflicts. Compared to the ancient empires of the galaxy, Earth looked primitive. At the center of the hall, a tall reptilian commander stood up. His scaled face showed clear amusement. He looked around the council and spoke with a deep, confident voice. "Is this truly why we were called here, a meeting about humans?" he said. "A species that only recently learned how to leave its own star system." Some council members laughed quietly. Others nodded in agreement. The commander continued speaking. "Our scouts have watched Earth for decades. Their technology is slow, their governments are divided, and their space fleet is almost non-existent." He pressed a control panel beside him. A large holographic screen appeared in the center of the hall. "Today humans tested what they call their newest space prototype," he said. The recording began playing. A strange-looking human ship stood on a launch platform on Earth's moon. It did not look elegant like alien ships. Its design looked rough and simple, almost unfinished. The engines activated with bright blue flames. Slowly the ship lifted into space. Some alien leaders began whispering to each other. A few even chuckled at the design. Then the ship suddenly accelerated forward. It moved faster and faster until it vanished in a flash of light. The video ended. For a moment the hall was quiet. Then loud laughter echoed across the chamber. "That is their great invention," one alien leader said while laughing. "It looks like a mining ship from 300 years ago." Another leader waved a claw dismissively. "Humans are still children in space technology," he said. The reptilian commander crossed his arms proudly. "This is why I say invading Earth will be easy," he declared. "The planet has resources, a strong gravity environment, and adaptable life forms. It would be a useful colony." Many leaders nodded. To them the idea sounded logical. But near the back of the council chamber, a young alien analyst slowly stood up. His species was small and quiet compared to the powerful war races of the galaxy. "Honored Council," he said carefully, "I believe we should not underestimate humans." Some leaders looked annoyed. The reptilian commander laughed again. "Why should we fear a species that barely understands interstellar travel?" he asked. The young analyst took a deep breath. "Because humans develop technology very quickly," he replied. "In only a few centuries they moved from early machines to space travel. That speed is unusual in the galaxy." The council chamber became quieter, but the reptilian commander simply shook his head. "Speed means nothing without experience," he said. "Humans are still far behind us." Before the debate could continue, a council officer suddenly rushed into the center of the chamber. His face looked pale with shock. He quickly activated the main holographic display. New data streams filled the air. "Council leaders," he said urgently, "we have a situation." The hall became silent. "What situation?" the commander asked impatiently. The officer swallowed nervously before answering. "The human prototype ship we just watched," he said slowly. "It has disappeared from every sensor network in the galaxy." Murmurs spread through the chamber. "That is impossible," one scientist said immediately. The officer shook his head. "Our deep space sensors, border stations, and tracking arrays cannot locate it anywhere," he explained. The reptilian commander frowned for the first time. "Then find it," he ordered. The officer looked even more nervous now. "We are trying," he said quietly. "But there is something else." Every leader in the chamber leaned forward. The officer pointed at the display. A single blinking signal appeared on the map of space. The signal was not near Earth. It was much closer than anyone expected. Because the signal was coming from inside the most secure region of space in the galaxy, right next to the territory of the Galactic Council. And the signal source was the human prototype ship. For the first time since the meeting began, the Galactic Council stopped laughing. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was no longer filled with laughter. The alien leaders now watched the giant holographic map with serious faces. At the center of the map a single blinking signal appeared again and again. The signal belonged to the human prototype ship. But the strange thing was its location. It was not near Earth anymore. It was now inside the protected space zone of the Galactic Council. This region of space was the most secure place in the galaxy. Hundreds of defense satellites watched every direction. Thousands of sensors tracked every ship that entered the area. Nothing could move there without the Council knowing about it. And yet somehow the human ship had appeared there without warning. Council scientists quickly began studying the sensor data. Large streams of numbers and charts filled the air around them. They checked every system again and again. But the result was always the same. The ship had appeared suddenly. There was no travel path. No warp trail. No energy signal. It was simply not there 1 second. And then it was there the next second. This must be an error, one alien scientist said nervously. Our sensors cannot fail like this. Another scientist shook his head slowly. All systems are working perfectly, he replied. There is no mistake in the data. The reptilian commander looked angry now. Then how did a human ship enter our protected space? He demanded. No one answered him. The truth was simple and frightening. No one in the council understood what had happened. Suddenly the blinking signal disappeared again. The entire hall became silent. Where did it go? One leader asked quickly. Scientists searched the sensors again. Long seconds passed while they scanned the galaxy. Then a new signal appeared. This time it was somewhere else. Gasps spread across the chamber. The human prototype ship had appeared near one of the Council's outer defense stations. A station protected by powerful warships and heavy weapons. But the human ship stayed there for only a few seconds. Then it disappeared again. This is impossible, a war general said loudly. No ship can move that fast. But the sensors proved it was real. The prototype appeared again. This time near a different council station. Then it vanished once more. It kept appearing and disappearing across council space like a ghost, jumping from place to place in ways that made no sense. Some council leaders began whispering in fear. If humans can move like this, one leader said quietly, they could appear anywhere in the galaxy. The reptilian commander clenched his claws tightly. Track the ship and destroy it, he ordered. Council defense fleets immediately moved into position. Powerful battleships activated their weapons and scanning systems. But every time they tried to lock onto the human ship, it disappeared before they could react. Then something even stranger happened. The ship stopped moving. A single signal appeared again on the holographic map. This time it remained still. All council sensors focused on the location. The prototype ship was now floating silently in open space. Only a short distance from the Galactic Council headquarters. No weapons were active. No engines were visible. It simply waited there quietly. Is this some kind of challenge? One council leader asked nervously. Before anyone could answer, a small data packet appeared on the council communication network. Every screen in the chamber suddenly changed. A simple message appeared in clear translation text. The entire council read the message together. The message was short and calm. Human prototype test successful. For several long seconds no one spoke. Then one old alien scientist slowly stood up. His voice was quiet but full of concern. If this is only their prototype, he said slowly, what will their finished technology look like? For the first time in many centuries, fear began to spread inside the Galactic Council. The message from the human prototype ship stayed on the council screens. Human prototype test successful. No one in the Great Hall laughed anymore. The same alien leaders who mocked Earth earlier now looked worried and confused. The reptilian commander slowly stood from his seat. His sharp eyes stared at the blinking signal on the holographic map. "Track that ship," he ordered again. "I want its exact location every second." Council scientists worked quickly. Dozens of scanning beams spread across the map. Powerful tracking systems searched the area around the human ship. But the result was the same as before. The sensors could see the ship only when it wanted to be seen. The moment they tried to lock onto it, the signal disappeared again. Then suddenly the signal blinked and vanished once more. Murmurs spread across the council chamber. "Where is it now?" one leader asked nervously. Scientists scanned the entire council territory again. Seconds felt like minutes as everyone waited for an answer. Then a shocked technician pointed at the map. "There," he said quietly. A new signal appeared. The human prototype ship had jumped again. This time it appeared beside one of the largest council battle stations. A station protected by powerful shields and hundreds of warships. The alien fleets quickly turned their weapons toward the human ship. Energy cannons charged and targeting systems locked on. But before anyone could fire, the ship vanished again. Gasps echoed through the hall. "It moved again," a scientist said. "And it did it instantly." The holographic map updated again. Now the ship appeared near another defense station. Then it disappeared again only seconds later. Again and again the ship appeared in different places. Near battle stations, near patrol fleets, and even near council sensor arrays. Each time it stayed only a few seconds before vanishing again. "It is testing our defenses," one military strategist said slowly. Another leader shook his head. "No ship can move like that," he said. "Not even the fastest council warships." An old alien scientist stepped forward and studied the data carefully. "I believe the ship is not using normal warp travel," he said. The hall became quiet again. "What do you mean?" the reptilian commander asked. The scientist pointed at the movement patterns on the map. "Warp drives leave energy trails," he explained. "But this ship leaves nothing behind." He paused for a moment before speaking again. "It is not traveling through space," he said. "It is skipping it." Confused whispers spread across the chamber. "If that is true," another scientist said slowly, "then the human ship is not limited by normal distance or speed." The reptilian commander frowned deeply now. "Are you saying they can appear anywhere?" he asked. The scientist nodded. "If this technology becomes stable," he said, "humans could move fleets across the galaxy instantly." The council members looked at each other with growing concern. For centuries, the Galactic Council had controlled the balance of power in the galaxy. Their fleets were the strongest and their technology was the most advanced. But now a young species from a distant blue planet had built something none of them understood. Suddenly, the human prototype ship appeared again. This time it appeared directly above a council battle station. The station's weapons immediately activated. Energy cannons pointed toward the ship. But the human craft did nothing. It simply hovered there quietly for 3 seconds. Then it vanished once more. The reptilian commander slowly lowered his head. For the first time his confident voice sounded uncertain. "If humans can build this with only one prototype," he said slowly, "what will happen when they build an entire fleet?" No one in the chamber answered him. Because every leader in the Galactic Council was thinking the same thing. Maybe the species they laughed at was not weak after all. Maybe humanity had just shown the galaxy a future no one was ready for. And for the first time since the meeting began, the Galactic Council began to fear Earth. The atmosphere inside the Galactic Council Hall had completely changed. Only a short time ago the alien leaders were laughing at Earth. Now the same leaders were watching the holographic screens with serious faces. The human prototype ship had disappeared again. No sensor in the galaxy could find it. The reptilian commander slowly sat down in his seat. His claws tapped nervously on the metal armrest. "We need more information about humans," he said. "Bring me everything we know about Earth." Immediately, the Council intelligence systems activated. Thousands of reports about humanity appeared on the holographic displays. Council analysts began studying the information carefully. Human history, human wars, human inventions, and human scientific progress. At first the information seemed normal. Humans were a young species compared to most races in the galaxy. Their early history was filled with conflict. Countries fought each other, resources were limited, and their technology developed slowly. Many alien leaders shook their heads when they saw this. "This proves humans are unstable," one leader said. "A divided species cannot become a great power." But the council analysts continued studying deeper records. Then they began to notice something strange. Human technology did not grow slowly forever. At certain moments in history, it jumped forward very quickly. One scientist pointed at a timeline of human inventions. "Look at this," he said. The timeline showed how humans moved from simple machines to advanced computers in a very short time. Then from computers to space travel in only a few generations. Another scientist added more information to the display. Every time humans faced a crisis, their technology advanced faster, he explained. Wars, disasters, and survival challenges pushed humans to invent new solutions. The reptilian commander watched the data carefully now. "So they improve under pressure," he said slowly. The scientist nodded. "Yes," he replied. "Humans are extremely creative when they are threatened." Another report suddenly appeared on the display. This report came from deep space observation stations near Earth. A young analyst quickly read the message and looked shocked. "What is it?" the commander demanded. The analyst hesitated for a moment before answering. "Earth is building more ships," he said. "That is expected," the commander replied. "Every species builds ships." But the analyst shook his head. "No," he said quietly. "They are building more ships like the prototype." The council chamber suddenly became silent. "How many?" one leader asked carefully. The analyst looked at the data again. "Factories on the Moon, Mars, and orbital stations are working together," he explained. "Production speed is increasing every day." He paused before saying the final number. "Our estimates suggest Earth may build hundreds of these ships." Loud arguments immediately began across the council chamber. Some leaders stood up in alarm. "This cannot be allowed," one war general shouted. "If humans build a fleet with that technology, they could control the entire galaxy." Another leader spoke calmly. "Or they could defend themselves from any invasion," he said. The reptilian commander stood again. His voice was serious now. "We must make a decision," he said. "Do we treat humanity as a future ally? Or as a future threat?" The council leaders began debating loudly. Some believed humans were still too young to challenge the galaxy. Others believed the prototype ship proved that humanity was far more dangerous than anyone expected. Then suddenly another report arrived from the sensor network. A scientist quickly looked at the data and froze. "The human prototype ship has appeared again," he said. Everyone turned toward the holographic map. The signal was not near Earth. And it was not near a council station. This time the signal was far more shocking. Because the human prototype ship had appeared directly inside the central council space zone. The most protected place in the entire galaxy. For the second time that day. Human technology had done something the Galactic Council believed was impossible. And now the council leaders were beginning to understand something very important. Humanity was not just experimenting with a new ship. Humanity was changing the rules of the galaxy. The Galactic Council had called an emergency vote. Every alien leader in the chamber argued loudly. Some demanded immediate action against Earth. Others warned that any attack could provoke a response they could not control. The reptilian commander stood at the center of the hall. His eyes scanned the room filled with tension. He had spent decades commanding fleets. But for the first time in his life, he was unsure of what to do. The council prepared its largest invasion fleet. Hundreds of warships armed with the deadliest weapons in the galaxy. The plan was simple. Enter human space and destroy the planets before humans could build their full fleet. All fleets were ready. Energy shields were activated. Weapons charged. And warp engines prepared to launch. But then, a new signal appeared on every council screen. This signal was calm, different from the fast, blinking signals of the human prototype ship. The council fell silent. The message appeared in clear universal translation. "We know about your invasion plan," the message read. Every leader in the chamber froze. No one moved. The voice in the message was calm, but it carried a warning that no one ignored. "Humanity's prototype was only a test," the message continued. "We hope the galaxy chooses peace." At the same time, the holographic map showed movement. Thousands of small blips appeared around the council fleet. At first, the leaders thought they were sensor errors. But then the blips moved closer. The human fleet appeared suddenly. Every ship looked like the prototype. Sleek, fast, and able to disappear and reappear at will. The invasion fleet panicked. Weapons scrambled. Commanders shouted orders. But the human ships moved faster than any council system could track. The reptilian commander clenched his claws tightly. "This is impossible," he said through gritted teeth. The leader of another alien species spoke quietly. "They said it was only a test, and yet look at them." The human fleet hovered silently. No attacks. No destruction. Only a clear demonstration of power. The message appeared again. "Our goal is peace. But we will defend ourselves if necessary." For the first time, the Galactic Council understood the truth. Earth had been underestimated. The species they laughed at had grown stronger than anyone imagined. Minutes passed as the council debated quietly. The laughter and arrogance of the past were gone. Fear and respect replaced them. Finally, the reptilian commander stood again. His voice firm but subdued. "Earth will not be attacked," he said. "We must recognize the power and creativity of this species." Other leaders nodded reluctantly. The vote was unanimous. The invasion fleet was ordered to stand down. Shields lowered, weapons disengaged. Humanity had won without firing a shot. Outside the council hall, the human prototype fleet slowly disappeared. Just as suddenly as it had appeared. The council knew they had been tested, and that humanity was a species that could never be ignored. From that day forward, Earth was no longer seen as weak. Other species began to respect human creativity and unpredictability. The Galactic Council learned a lesson they would never forget. Underestimating humanity was a mistake, one that no alien civilization would ever repeat. And so, the small blue planet continued to grow and evolve. Its people unaware that their first prototype had changed the balance of power in the galaxy. For humans were not only survivors. They were the most unpredictable force in the stars. And the galaxy would soon learn that underestimating Earth was the greatest mistake any civilization could make.